Welcome to the Health Shift Revolution, Bakersfield, California's premier holistic health network, featuring Roland Brown and Bobby Perrine. Two completely different guys on the same path with the knowledge, experience, and no-nonsense approach to help you navigate the way through the difficult journey of finding your way to holistic health. We're glad you stopped by. Take a second, slow down, and you just might discover that your goals are closer than you think. Take it away, guys. All right, welcome to the Health Shift Revolution. What's up, brother?
I'm doing great, Bobby. How are you this morning?
Man, I'm doing okay. I've had a down cycle last couple days. Believe it or
Okay.
not.
All
Yeah,
right.
I had to
Wow.
take off. I had to take off exercise, and I actually had to lay down for a whole day because,
What?
well, I had that accident.
Sure.
Yeah, and well, for those people who don't
Yeah.
know,
Let me
in
know what's going on.
in '99. I moved here from West Virginia, and within 3 months of moving here, I had a kid hit me going 120 miles an hour. And, well, I can show you a picture. Here's a picture right there. All right.
Okay.
So there's a picture of the accident. That's what I lived through. But consequently, what happens when something like that happens to you? I broke 37 bones, knocked out 11 teeth. I got all kinds of things wrong.
Yeah.
So as you get older with that kind of injury, things start to happen to you. And
Sure.
got rheumatoid arthritis, and I've got some inflammation. I got joints that are breaking down. So sometimes you know how hard I push myself.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, I pushed myself to the point where I had to lay down. So,
Exactly.
and I hate that. And when that happens to me, then we start talking about that triune being that we are, body, mind, and spirit. When your
Hmm.
body goes, and you have to lay down and you're somebody like me, then your mind starts to play with you, and then you get spiritually defunct. You start to think, man, can I do this? Is the health shift revolution? Can I just keep up with it? Can I keep up with Tababta? Can I keep up with my family? And then you start to get that depression kicks in, and then you get up on that third day and you get one of these,
Hmm.
and you take a shower and you log on to do your podcast, and you say, to hell with it. I'm going to go back to what I was, because that's where I was happy.
Right.
So that's kind of what I wanted to talk about today is people slip, man. You slip, you backslide. I guess that's what you call it in the church community. You
Well,
got to pick yourself back up.
yeah. But there's an issue of balance. We're all going to have a time where we're going to be limited. I mean, we live in a limited world. Okay.
Sure.
We live in a limited creation. There are, sicknesses, health, people like this. I've always adopted the attitude that number one, I have an eternal mindset. Okay. This is the physical part of my eternity that I'm living in right now. Uh, right now, my body will have its moments where it breaks down, where it
Mhm.
says, you got to stop. There's enough. There's a break. I've learned to take those and embrace them because it is simply my body telling me, bro, I need a rest. And that's all there is to it. And for me, the difference between being what I consider health minded rather than obsessive is being able to embrace the moment where my body says, dude, I need this. You need to lay down. And
Yeah.
while you're laying down, then renew your spirit. The one thing I've learned is that when I get down, I feel something coming on, or I feel like this. My first reaction, and always been, is to get into bed the first time I feel it, and then listen to what my body says, lay down there, and then I put my body to rest, and then I take that opportunity to let God talk to me. There's a lot of conversation that happens when you can take the physical out of it. And I spend my time in that bed embracing the fact that I get to lay down. And because I, quote unquote, have the flu or quote unquote are sick or something, nobody can tell me to get up. My wife comes in and makes sure I'm okay. I get catered. It's the only time, I get catered to for that little bit of time. I'm not one of those people that likes to be smothered, but I also don't mind, somebody bringing me water so I don't have to get up and get it.
Right.
But otherwise, put me in a cave, let me hibernate, let me spend my time communing with my spirit and my soul because, and God, when he's talking to me, so that while I am laying there, I can wake up and get over it. And then my body says, okay, we're done. You got your head right. You got your spirit right. Now I feel okay. Now we can go out all together and we can go embrace the challenge.
We go party again together, right?
We go all together and go take on the world again. But it's always us together.
Yeah. Well, I have that mindset. I can't undo what's happened to me, and
Sure. Absolutely.
I can't undo my training. And when I was in the Marine Corps, it doesn't matter if you're tired.
Right.
That's irrelevant. It doesn't
Yes.
matter if you're sick. That's irrelevant.
Right.
So that's the way I think about this life. When I get sick, when I get tired, when I get worn out, and my wife wants to take care of me, I am not one to be taken care of. That's just
So now you understand, okay, that this is the area that you're going to be developed in spiritually.
yeah. This is my
You're
weakness.
going to have your area of development so that relationally you can be a receiver as much as you are a giver.
Yikes! I don't want to talk about
It's a
that, man.
beautiful balance. It's a beautiful balance. They always say that, it is more blessed to give than to receive.
Right.
We hear that all the time, right?
Right. All the time, and
Ex-
I wholeheartedly live
except,
by that.
yeah, except the problem is this. If there are no receivers, what good's a giver?
Right.
It is always a back and forth. When we don't receive, then we take away the blessing of the givers in our lives.
I'm with you, man. I
Yeah,
have these conversations. I have these conversations with my wife. I had them with my therapist. I had them with just about everybody. And when I go down,
you
that's when I'm starting to learn.
to
But
practice receiving.
yeah, I
So
practice.
take it on as a challenge. Take it on as, by golly, I'm going to let you give me as
That
much
is
as you're willing
exactly
to
what.
do.
Yeah, that's exactly how I looked at it this time. I took it on as a
Yeah.
challenge because after that first day, and you know what, we all fall into a funk. Now the difference between you and the rest of the world is your funk might last a day, 2 days. Some people's funks last for long enough to become permanent and
Yeah.
become you have to get medicated to get out of your depression. You have to learn how to I'm learning how to fight, and I have learned how to fight over the last 23 years since that happened to me. I've
Yes.
learned how to accept my pain, accept what happened to me. I'm going to get down about it. Come on,
Absolutely.
I'm,
Absolutely.
I'm going to get down about it.
Yeah.
And if you're listening to me today, listen, you're going to get down. You're-
Embrace it.
you embrace it and
Embrace it.
look for the people that want to help you, because in those moments, that's when you're going to find out who loves you and who
Yes.
cares for you for real.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. It's there's a challenge in being, when caretakers and people, when we're being taken care of, one of the big problems with being a caretaker is having to take care of people who resent the fact that they have to be taken care of.
Yeah, I get you. I get you. I
Yeah.
don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be. I don't want to
Right.
be that guy that everybody hates taking care of. Yeah, he doesn't like it.
because that's why we say about fitness, man. Fitness means never having to hear they'll take good care of you here, mom, dad.
Well, see,
Come see you Tuesday.
I got married 10 years ago, and about 4 or 5 years ago, my wife got sick, and she got
Right.
really sick, and she took some antibiotics, and it destroyed her biome.
Sure.
Everything went, and she was sleeping all the time. She was throwing up all the time, and she did this for about 5 years, man.
Yeah.
So I've been a caretaker for that long. And before that, I took care of my grandfather who died of Alzheimer's disease. So I've always been this guy who I can't be down. I
Right.
can't. It's
Right.
impossible for me to be down because, you get that mindset about you. And listen, everybody, I know there are people out there who just have this mindset. You think you can't be sick. You think you can't
Right.
be tired. You think you can't be depressed. You think everybody will fall apart if you're not there. And that's the way I was for many, many years. And
Hmm.
I'm just learning that the world's not going to fall apart without me. In fact, one day the world's not going to have me at all. And I think it'll still be okay.
Exactly. Exactly. That becomes the healthiest reality. There are going to be times we're called on. My wife has gone through a number of different, illnesses and accidents and things like that over years.
Yeah.
And it is. But I also know that when she's healthy, when she's strong, when she's well, and I go down, for something, that I can count on her.
Yeah.
It's just the plain simple fact that sometimes, the whole, vow thing, better, worse, richer, poor, sickness, health, all that kind of stuff is the whole point of that is, and what we're talking about is there's enough stuff that's going to happen that's outside of our control
Yeah.
that we have it's really irresponsible for us not to take care of those things which are in our control.
Exactly.
We can, because you and I, living a particular way of life now, and in the as I said, I've had the great fortune of never having been seriously injured, so I've never had a real disruption in the process of my physical life, and I count that as a blessing. I
Yeah,
count
you
that
should, sir.
as grace. I count that as just the favor. In fact, but that also puts me in the majority of people. There are
Yeah.
a majority of us who have no excuse, and we should we owe it. I say this all too much. We owe it to those around us to be cognizant of the blessings, and that those people who have legitimate suffering, physical limitations, and things like that, who struggle every day just to get around outside of their own neglect, those are the people we disrespect when
Yeah.
we don't take care of ourselves.
Yeah. I agree. I agree. But you also have to look at in our world, as a mental health professional, I look at when people start down that slide, it, it becomes addiction. And addiction is a royal bitch, and excuse my language, but I've watched people just
Absolutely.
my
But
wife's best friend from grade school just 3 days ago succumbed to addiction. So,
yeah,
and she's gone. She's 41 years old.
absolutely. Absolutely. And
And
and you're
it's not a matter of disrespect at that point. It's a matter of
no,
you need help,
right.
some serious help. And
Right.
that's what the health shift revolution is for. We're here to help you. We're here to
Yes.
talk you through this. And when we talk about our down cycles and we laugh because we're sick and we laugh because our wives have to bring us water and we have to kind of swallow that like, I don't want that to happen.
Now, our
We want
wives
to help you
get to
deal
bring
with
us
those.
water.
There you go.
Okay.
Laura is so happy when I'm down. You see a little twinkle in her eye. She's like, "Yeah, I
Yes.
can cook for
Yes.
you." I was like,
Yes. Yes. Yes.
so we have people in our lives that want to help us, Roland, and we reject them over and over again, and we choose our addictions. And I'll say it. I will choose my addiction to being
Super.
profoundly healthy as I can, and it becomes
Right.
an OCD, it becomes an obsession, and then it becomes an addiction, and then it becomes a problem because I won't
Right.
let anyone to help me.
Right.
So I'm learning.
Right.
Sometimes life comes down and takes your feet right out from under you.
Hey, you know what? It's God's way of getting you to practice what you need to learn.
Yeah. So I just want to make that point because Roland and I aren't here to shame you for being overweight or to shame you for not having self control. We're here to point out that you need some help, and you know what? If you just reach your hand up That's all you got to do. Someone will be there to help you always.
Yes. I've got a friend who was called me to ask some questions about training. He's in school and he's doing some things, and he wanted to interview a trainer, interview someone who does this, and we're really close. And he's a real, he's a real fit guy, physical guy,
Yeah.
but he's in college doing some courses for training for school. And so he was asking me this question about, what is it that, motivates people? Why, how do you get people to actually start exercise or training? And then he asked the question is, what is their biggest challenge? What is my biggest challenge with getting people to kind of adhere, to stay engaged, and they're one and the same thing, because first and foremost, we have to understand that as physical beings, no matter what we do, we talked about this before, we're gonna do it through our bodies, and so you actually have to have a physical purpose in life. You have to actually recognize that there's a physical purpose for your life. And a lot of that comes to saying, okay, then what is it I have to, what is it that matters enough to me that I want to be able to do it for the rest of my life? And when you start to look at that, then the goal here becomes, how do I keep myself aging in a way that if I happen to live this long life, because that's a challenge. If you die young, no biggie. But if you are, forced to live out a long lifetime,
Forced.
Exactly. That's because you see, it's hilarious when you stop thinking about it. I use that all the time. What happens if you're stuck living here on this planet? A lot of people go, I want to go to heaven. I want to be with Jesus. So yeah, one day you will, but suppose he doesn't want you for a while. Okay. And so you got to figure out how you're going to manage in this life for the entire lifetime. And so when you think about it in those terms, then we get away from the idea of, I got to get ready for something in a week or a month or this, or it gets away from vanity.
Yeah.
It gets away from those things. It gets away from that, because now what you've done is you've attached the physical to your lifelong, your spiritual purpose, your professional purpose, your academic purpose, your emotional purpose, your familial purpose. You put that as part of the process, and then you go see, what kind of legacy am I going to be able to live?
Yeah.
So that allows us to do these things that are greater than us, and we engage the physical with everything else. It's easy to incorporate that if you can see down the line that, I just have a 1.5-year-old grandson. He's almost 1.5, and now I'm looking at, okay, he's cute as a 1-year-old. What happens when he's a 16-year-old and I'm available to him? What have I done in that period of time? So can I be available to him when he's 16? Can I be available to him if I'm living that long? Can he have access to me? Can we do things together? Can we spend time? Can I pour into his life because I'm capable of being around him?
Right.
and with him, because now I'm almost 80 years old at that point. And I'm like, am I going to be that kind of 80-year-old grandfather that can, go anywhere, anytime, at any moment with him?
I suspect you will.
Well, that's my purpose. That's
your
my
goal.
Physical purpose for this part of my life, to be able to impact him the way I impacted my daughters.
I get it. And you know what? You brought up an interesting point there. When most people, their fitness doesn't have anything to do with their fitness level. It has to do with how they look. Because in 6 months, I'm going to have my 40th high school reunion. And I know a lot of people right now are thinking, in 6 months, I have a 40th reunion, so I have to lose 10 pounds or 15 pounds or 20 pounds in that 6 months. I got time.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You're very kind, because
Yeah.
if you're going to your 40th, then they're talking about, I got to lose 40 pounds, I got to lose 50 pounds, I got to lose 60 pounds. Nobody's talking about 10. If you're talking about 10 pounds, they're not even thinking about that. They're not even thinking about losing 10 pounds in 6 months.
Right. I'll give it to you.
Okay.
Right. But the thing is, they're thinking these short-term goals. I have to fit into
Yes.
these pair of pants, or I have to
Right.
fit into this dress, and I want to impress people. I don't want them to think that I really am what I am. And
Right.
that's the thing that we're looking at here. It's like, that's why I tell people, go follow the truth, because you
Right.
know the truth. And the truth is, you don't need to lose that 20 to 50 pounds in the next 6 months. You need to lose it over the next year, year and a half, and then keep it off. And you
Right.
need to start thinking about, not health is not in terms of weight loss, and health is in terms of how you feel, people. I mean, if you
Well,
don't feel
and
good,
honestly,
you're not going to live a good life.
if you're 6 months from your, as we said, from your goal, from your 40th reunion or that kind of thing, and what you should be thinking about is how you're going to look at your 50th reunion, because you've already blown it for 40. You're going to start back. Just, that's the truth. Okay. When we start
Yeah,
telling
I
people
know.
the truth, we're going to tell people the truth. You're not going to be in high school size in 6 months. So don't even worry about it. And your goal is to actually, at that point in 6 months, is actually show up and be there.
Yeah, show up, be
Show up and be there.
friendly, and be kind, and show people that your life is good. Not
Yes.
not how
Yes.
you look and you feel miserable because you haven't eaten for 6 months.
Right. Right. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. No, don't expect like that. You weren't that size in high school. What are you going to do now?
Yeah,
So
I had a
yeah,
31-inch waist in high school, and today I have a 32-inch waist. Man, I better get to work.
yeah. You go. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
I
And
was thinking
so
a lot about what we talked about this week with the diet, and when you're looking at a diet that promises you 10 pounds in a week or whatever, those aren't
right.
sustainable. And if you're looking at a diet that's a fad diet like keto and all, just stop, because keto is not sustainable. It'll make you
Correct.
lose weight. I'm not saying it won't,
Right.
but
Right.
after 6 months of keto, you're going to be you're going to be nutrient deficient. You're going to be sick. You're in ketosis,
Yeah.
folks.
Exactly.
That's sickness.
It's
You're making yourself sick to lose weight.
right.
Let's not do that. Let's
Well,
change our habits a little bit. Yeah,
weight
a little
loss
bit at a
does
time.
weight loss does make you sick.
Of
But
course.
we need to move them from weight loss to fat loss.
There
Fat
you
loss
go.
is how you get healthy.
Right.
And if you focus on losing fat, then you will lose the requisite amount of weight necessary. Our challenge is we've been, the culture, we've been acculturated to this issue of weight loss. I mean, the Biggest Loser and these TV shows, from fit to fat to fit and everything else.
Oh
It's
man.
all focused on this external and numerical,
And Roland, how much
and
damage
wrong.
have they done to us? How much damage has that done to us?
Well, it reinforces the very thing that we're talking about, because again, even the people who do it go through the program, and when they get back into their real lives, they get trying to sustain that. You
Mhm.
can't sustain that. They put on weight again, or what they have to discover is all of a sudden that everything about they were learning, teaching, or promoting, that's the word I'm looking for,
Yeah.
about the value of the scale, has to be thrown out. And they throw out that when they get outside, away from the cameras and everything else. The scale only represents your totality of your mass, and it
Right.
doesn't
That's it.
represent the level of health. And so when we do that, but see, weight loss in a marketing culture and a consumer culture like we are, has infinite number of product possibilities.
Hmm.
There's infinite number of income streams for people to promote and sell products that deal with weight loss. So
Right.
again, what you said before about going after the truth and understanding the truth about physiology, about physical fitness, about how the body works and all of these things, it takes you away from that. And now all of a sudden, when you're going in here and, I just need to eat whole foods. It doesn't matter here. I can go eat this. I can have, a chicken some sort of protein. I can have protein, I can have vegetables, and I can have this. And if I just do that, if I keep my diet with whole foods, protein, vegetables, the amount of minimal amount of starchy carbs based on my activity level.
Right.
If I just do that, then I don't need another book. I don't need a plan. I don't need to do that. Now I have, protein with every meal. Boom, 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 boom. This becomes my lifestyle. This is what's sad is
that's the word I was looking for you to use. Lifestyle. It becomes a lifestyle.
But what's sad is this is what everybody who has a body that you want to look like does. And yet people will look at Oprah and whatever she's promoting, or they will look at this celebrity, whatever they're promoting, but they won't actually do what the people who look the way you want to look do. It's like, I have never in my life had anyone say, Roland, I want to look like Oprah. I love what she's doing. That doesn't happen. Okay? You know what I want from Oprah is I want business lessons.
Yeah,
okay?
Definitely.
All right. I want to operate in Oprah's strength level. Okay. Teach me, show me, give me a couple, let me spend some private time, with you about marketing and business and getting people to buy stuff they don't need, and stuff like that. Okay. Show me how to do that. Okay.
Well, if you ask her that way, dude, she is not going to help you. Okay.
Well, of course not. And I'm being facetious, but the reality is, what we need to look at and get from people who have things to offer. And she has great things to offer, especially if you're looking, to say, I want to build a brand and build something. You can sit and talk with someone like that and go, this is what I want to be.
Right.
But you don't go to her for weight loss, for fitness advice, for strength and body. You don't go to her because she has a popular name. I go to her for a good book to read. These are the things that you look at and you go. So any person that you're looking at, and what happens with bodybuilders and fitness people and stuff like that, what you discover is the simplicity of their lives when it comes to things like nutrition and training. It's just the basics over and over and over again.
Yeah, exactly. It's the basics, and it's simplistic, and it's not complicated, and they're not buying it off a shelf, and it's this lifestyle that they built for themselves. For me, food, as a chef, I used to cook. All right. I know all about food. I learned from the best, and food was very important to me. And food was like this thing that I did, and food had to taste good, it had to look good, and it had this quality about it that was ethereal to me.
Mm-hmm.
And now you know what food is to me?
Yes.
Food is nutrition. It's fuel. And that's the way I look at food now. It doesn't have to look pretty. It doesn't have to taste all that good. I'm fine with it if it's bland, whatever. So,
but that's the part. It doesn't have to be
the way I
bland.
look at it.
Yes, because
spices all over the place. I'm just making a point of where I went from one extreme to where food was everything, and now food is just what it's supposed to be. What it's fuel. I don't look at food anymore as I don't cheat. I don't look at it like I'm going to reward myself. Food's not a reward. Food's not a reward. I don't stop at the gas station to give my car a shot of gasoline because it's been running good. There you go. Yeah. No, it's food. I eat when I'm supposed to. I eat what I'm supposed to, and I exercise. And so there you go. It's very simple.
And I tell people all the time, man, I've discovered spices, and I've discovered air fryer. Okay. Mm-hmm. And, for those of us carnivores, man, the air fryer is, oh my gosh, it's such a blessing. I have an air fryer and I have a grill, and I do. I air fry asparagus. I get my breakfast. Veggies. You can do things. Oh my gosh! And then all you got to do is get a couple of rubs and spice that stuff down. You drop it in olive oil, spray on it, and everything is clean. I'm telling you, man. My wife is just like tripping out because I'll text her, I got dinner tonight. Yo, what? Yeah.
don't let my wife in the kitchen, bro.
Yeah, well, that's
She
good for
doesn't come in
you.
the kitchen.
Yeah,
I'm the cook. I'm the chief cook
yes,
and bottle
yes,
washer right
that's
there.
fine. That's fine with you, and I've heard of guys like you too. But anyway,
What,
I'm,
unicorn?
I'm
Is that what
having
you're
a joy.
saying?
Yes,
The
there you go.
unicorn? Yeah, I
Yes,
do
indeed.
laundry and I
I
cook.
do that. Yes, yes, yes. I hear you. See, and I do. It's funny because I really enjoy one of my challenges over the years was because of the schedule I work. I was rarely home at dinner time to do dinner, and stuff
Right.
like that to do those things. So, I do the breakfast on Saturday morning with the kids and stuff like that,
Yeah.
or breakfast on Sunday morning, that type of thing. But I tell you what, it's this life that we are in a real way privileged to live when you live in health.
Yeah.
You discover the things you're doing that you're capable of doing that are just every day. It's kind of awesome when you realize that, and you have the opportunity to influence other people. When you do this, I'm up at 4 o'clock this morning. I've got gals coming in here at 4:40 and stuff, and we're just, there are people that come to me, and they come at these what we consider ridiculous times in the morning, even for me, and that's my work. It's a ridiculous time in the morning, to come and do this, but they're willing to sacrifice this in order to learn how to be really, really, really efficient physically, to own this area of their life that they don't own. I've always said the clients I serve are, to me, some of the smartest people in the world. They do exactly what I do when it comes to learning something. I go to an expert and I find out in an area that I don't know. I let someone else do it.
Right.
And I let someone teach me, I let someone show me, or I let someone do it. I
Right.
believe that is what we're called to do in this regard. I don't want to pretend that I know how to do, everything. And smart people don't. And
Well, listen, man, I have seen people that I wouldn't ask advice from. And I'm not gonna, you don't need to,
no,
we don't need to point them out.
you don't
Okay.
need
I've
to.
seen people, right.
Yeah.
And I've seen people in Albertsons that I would talk to, bro, that I
Right.
would say,
Right.
hey, man,
Right.
you're fit. And then you know
Yes.
what happens? Podcasts happen and Health Shift Revolution happens and good things happen to people
Right.
that when you go you feel drawn to the people that are fit and healthy and happy and smiling. And I'm not saying
Yes.
everyone's got muscles and everyone, we all have our problems. But listen, when you're out and about and you see somebody, ask them.
True
Just
enough.
ask them.
True
Just
enough.
say, hey, man,
True enough.
you look like you're fit. How'd you do that?
Right.
Some people will be able to teach and some people won't. You are one of those people that I would trust to teach me. And I need to come in. I need to yeah, I know. I need to schedule some strength with you. I need some weights. I haven't been in a weight room in, I don't know, a year and a half. So
Hmm.
I need
Yeah.
to do that.
Well, that's great because I need to pay some. I need to buy something. So come on in.
You're supposed to offer that, man. You're supposed to be like, I'll help you out. You're my partner, you
You
know?
know what? I offer it. Yes, I offer everything. I make an offer.
Right on, man.
Yes. As
Right
you
on.
say. Yeah, it's Bobby. I'm thrilled at about what we get to laugh about and what we get to talk about and stuff like that. And it's interesting when we have. As the more we've done this, the more we've talked. The thing that I've really have come to understand is that there's such a severe disconnect. And I'll repeat this, I think, probably every time we talk, is that
Okay.
there's such a severe disconnect between people's living and their physical living.
Yeah.
The perception that you can get through life in any kind of shape that you want to, and that the rest of the world must accommodate you, and that things should be done for you, regardless of the fact that you're allowing your physical condition to deteriorate.
Right.
And and so I look at that, and it's this is the only area where of life where people are seeking sympathy, and seeking accommodation, when they do this
Yeah,
thing,
I
it's
get
like,
it. Yeah.
when if you let anything else fall into disrepair in your house, or your plumbing, or this, or your car, or whatever it is, all your possessions, all those things fall into disrepair. And then you've got people either, looking at you, go, hey, what are you going to do about this? Are you going to fix this? Or we don't let this go, or I can't have this happen. I see gals who spend, all this money on their fingernails and on their hair, and we talk about this, and you've got all of this stuff, but you won't, manage your, food intake, or you won't go, lift some weights, or won't go for a walk, take care of everything that supports your nails and your hair,
Right.
so it's everything in between. So all of these things that we are invested in, we are invested in so many of the superficial things, and not invested in what really, really, really drives it, what really matters. And that it's
Right.
like washing your car, but never taking care of the engine. Those are the things that we want to really, 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 really want to get established in the mind, this
Yeah.
mindset, so that we're not just talking about stuff, but we're actually getting people to do stuff. Maybe we should get to that point now where we'll have people call in and we can talk to them.
I would hope so. I hope so. I think the pharmaceutical industry has excused us for so long now. It's like,
Sure.
yeah, we'll fix it. Don't worry about it. And they
Right.
mask the problem. I think the hardest part, listen, everybody, the hardest part of fitness is changing your mind about what fitness is. It's that it's
Yes.
the hardest
Yes.
part.
I
It's
agree.
because you've been lied to for so long. You've been sitting on the couch eating potato chips, and suddenly Beachbody comes on, and you're like, I need to order that, or
Hmm.
Planet Fitness. I need to sign up, or and you never really actually see the truth of what you need.
Right.
You're going to throw $10 a month at it.
Right.
There it is.
You
I'm a
commit.
member of Planet Fitness. I'm on my
Yes.
way to get a pizza, and I'm going to
Yes.
drive by 3 of them before I get to that pizza.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we need to change our mind, follow the truth of what you really suspect is going on in your life. Take note of what you're personally lacking, and you're lacking it. You know you are,
Right.
and you know you are, and I knew. So the hardest part about this whole thing, learn the truth, change your mind.
Yes.
That's it.
Yeah.
Once you do that, it, think of it this way. Think of anything you've ever wanted to learn in your life, and you started to learn, and the more you learn, the more you want to learn. Like, I want to learn Spanish, so you learn a little few words, and then you begin to converse with people in Spanish, and things start to happen, and you change your life, and suddenly you're a Spanish speaker. Well, that
Right.
happened to Roland. That happens to me. I was hurt and sick and overweight and taking a lot of pills and taking a lot of drugs, and I realized this isn't what I am. This is what I want to
Right.
be. So I
Right.
changed my mind and I worked my way out of it. And look, man, got a podcast.
Yeah. 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 And it's funny. There's a, I think probably the best way I can say this is there is always a point in life where we come to where we have to go, all right, something has to get better or it's going to get worse.
Yeah,
The
definitely.
realization is something, I have to do something better. And what's cool about, the fundamentals of fitness, and I think this is what you even discovered, um, is that you started doing simple things.
Yeah.
You start doing the things you can do, and then things start to change, because what inevitably happens, and this is what I hear so often. I tried that. I tried working out. I
Right.
tried eating, because it comes from a consumer mindset that this is an optional thing. If you do it this way, this will produce this result for you.
Right.
And rather than, as you say, seeking the way that works for you, but understanding there are fundamentals that work for everybody.
Right.
And then determining what your actual goal is. I have said there is absolutely no problem. I have no problem with people who say, you know what, I really want to look great,
Yeah,
in my
I
body.
do
I
too.
really want to look great. But so often, we're kind of taught that they've been taught that no, you shouldn't be looking, shouldn't be training for that. You should be focused on your body. Here's the thing. If you want to work to look great, then in order to get to great looking, you have to pass through healthy, you have to pass through strong, you have to pass through fit, you have to
Right.
pass through capable, you have to pass through, because each one of those levels enables you to work hard enough to get to the point where the aesthetic goal you're looking for,
Right.
is attainable. So if you start, if you look at a mountain and you want to start mountain climbing, I want to get to the top of a mountain. Well, the hardest part of climbing a mountain is not the first 100 feet. It's the last 100 feet.
Guaranteed.
Okay.
Guaranteed. Yep.
So the reason so many people don't get to the top is because so many people get 3/4 of the way up and say, oh, or 1/4 of the way up and look, you know what? It looks nice from here. I think this is good.
I'm comfortable here.
I've seen enough. Exactly.
I'll just rope in right here, and here's where I'll sit.
Here's where I'll sit. And you know what? If you get to a certain level of capability and fitness, then you can rest there.
Yeah.
That's
those
all.
are the days that we talked about before. I didn't actually in the last 3 days, Roland. I haven't lost anything. I've actually
Of course
gained
not.
because
Yes,
I've
you have.
rested right here for a
Because your
minute,
body's recovered. Yeah.
and so we come.
But
full circle.
we could live on the fundamentals. You can live on the basics your entire life. You
Yeah,
can live on
Schwarzenegger did. Schwarzenegger
exactly.
talked about it all the time. He said, "I live on the fundamentals. I don't do anything extreme."
You don't do the stuff to compete anymore. Don't do the stuff like that. You can live on the
Right.
fundamentals
Yep.
and live a great life, because that's where healthy and strong resides. And if you can live at healthy and strong, then you don't have to live at peak performance.
Right on, man. I got one thing to say before I go.
Go for it.
You reminded me of this. We've all been poor in our lives, and we've all driven bad cars. We've talked about that before.
Right.
The first thing you see when you have bad tires is you notice. You look at your tire and you go, "Oh, that doesn't look good."
Right.
And then the first time you're on a wet road, so listen carefully. The first time you're on a wet road and that car gives a little bit to the left when you're trying to brake, right there, folks, that's when you need to change the tires or you're going to die, because that's what Roland was talking about before. When you start to notice the things in your life that are unhealthy and start to hurt and start to pull to the left a little bit when you brake, that's when you need to change. That's when you need to realize your tires are bad, or your diet's bad, or your health. I haven't taken a walk in a year. I've been sitting here watching TV. I know everything about the Series 24. Man,
Right.
I've watched every man. I know Jack really well.
Yes.
But I'm so sick because I've been sitting here eating.
Right.
So think about this. The first time you see something is wrong, that's a warning shot. That's the time when you're like, okay, if I don't stop, I'm going to have a heart attack, or I'm going to have a stroke, or I'm going to end up dead. And so listen, everybody, you know the truth. When you stand up and you're sick and you have acid reflux or any of the things that are coming with that bad health, those are just your warning shots, and you can correct easily. All you got to do is make the decision.
Exactly.
Right on.
Yes. Perfect. Great way to end it. As long as you're breathing, you can change. Right.
Like you said, we all have the fundamental things we need. We all breathe oxygen. We all have the same nutritional needs. We all have the same. We're humans.
Exactly.
We're human beings. And if we adhere to that, we are going to live a great life.
Exactly. Cool.
Except for those days when you're down, which you're going to have.
And you can have, and that's also, those are called rest days, not down days. They're called rest days.
Whatever. You can call it whatever you want. Okay. I've been down, bro. I've been on my back, and I don't do that. All right.
I hear
All right,
you.
Roland.
Bobby,
All right, man.
appreciate you so much.
Yeah, I love you, brother.
Folks,
You have a good week.
yeah, tell the folks out there, hey, we appreciate you guys listening too. Thank you so
All
much.
right. All right.
And leave us a text in the comment. Leave us a comment. Let us know if there's any way we can help you.
Yeah, because that's what we're here for.
Exactly.
All right.
All right,
All right,
my
man.
God. Take care.
See you next time, brother.
You got it. Bye-bye.
Later.
Hey, thanks for stopping by. Roland and I are grateful for the time you spent with us today. If you liked it, subscribe because we'll be back every week to offer up that rational and reasonable advice on discovering your individual path to holistic wellness. It's time you join the revolution. See you next week.